My goodness. Brianna Turner was on this team for I don't even know if it was 24 hours. Because I can't imagine why you would sign her. I understand she's supposed to be this great defensive player. But is it worth taking a flamethrower to your fan base and your locker room, by the way?
The Indiana Fever signed because they believed they were making progress. Brianna Turner was expected to be a defensive player and seasoned presence to support Caitlin Clark in leading this team into the future. However, in less than a day, Turner accomplished the unthinkable and turned the entire Fever fan base against her, making her public enemy number one.
So the Indiana Fever fans are furious with this signing. Absolutely furious with the fact the Fever have signed someone who appears to be a Caitlin Clark hater in Brianna Turner.
Let's just say that Turner wasted no time in introducing herself, but the supporters weren't welcoming her with open arms. Instead of applauding a shot-blocking machine, they dug into receipts and discovered outright animosity toward the new queen of Indiana, Caitlin Clark.
A lot of the tweets and stuff do not look good. Do not look good from Bri Turner.
Fans believed they were getting a defensive anchor to team with Clark when earlier tweets reappeared, but instead they got someone who had already taken shots off the court. The tweet and question. Suddenly, the enthusiasm morphed into full-blown indignation fever. Turner made fun of Iowa's celebration for finishing second in the NCAA. You know, the same Iowa team under Clark that just finished one of the best college basketball seasons in history.
Seriously, if you're going to dog out your fan base that you just came over to, and look, she's got a history of going after the Iowa Hawkeyes, talking shit about Caitlin Clark fans. It's baffling. Seriously.
Tweeted Iowa will celebrate the NCAA runner-up, and all of the players and coaches expected this to be done with respect. I'm not sure if this is how a runner-up usually acts with respect, because fans saw through it that it wasn't respect that was shaded, and if you want to wear that Fever jersey comfortably, you don't come for Caitlin Clark in Indiana.
He tweeted this: Iowa will hold a celebration to honor the NCAA runner-up. All players and coaches expected. This is Iowa to hold celebration. Respectfully, I'm confused. Is this what a runner-up typically does now? Haven't seen this before. But kudos to them for publicly honoring all their accomplishments. I'm confused. Is this what a runner-up does? It does if you're Iowa. I'm sorry.
Fans couldn't believe it was not some innocuous tweet from the past. Rather, it was Turner looking at the same Fever fans who had been celebrating Clark's arrival and historic performance and telling them to deal with it there. However, it got worse when fans called her out expecting maybe a "my bad" Turner double down. She essentially told them to get lost.
There are fans out there saying they are being blocked by Brianna Turner. That's a terrible look for this new addition to the team. I mean, seriously. God, it's crazy. Fever fans or CC fans, the Brianna Turner pickup does not make sense. I'm a basketball-first fan. CC did bring me to watch the W. As a fan, I want ballers who are going to help win and play together as one. Ask yourself, does Turner really fit in?
Before she ever set foot on the court, fans demanded that she be cut. One fervent supporter tweeted, "We were excited about defense. Now we're defending Clark from our own player," while others made jokes. The backlash was like a tidal wave on social media. Turner was rushing through the challenge of how to ruin your welcome.
Let's be real. She tweeted about the whole, do you remember the whole, harassment by the journalist? Or say not by the journalist, by the paparazzi, the TMZ person who tried to ask Kennedy Carter a question. And obviously she went and made a way bigger deal about that than it should have.
However, this goes beyond a few irate tweets. It's about Clark, who is more than just a player. She is the franchise and the reason Indiana is relevant once more. She is also the reason why ticket sales are up and why games are receiving national attention. And Turner's first action was to take a cheap shot at the supporters and defenders of their star player. Turner's supporters attempted to spin it by claiming that fans were overreacting or that she was merely kidding. But let's face it, this is the WNBA. Fans of Twitter remember that nothing is ever removed, and fans of Clark have witnessed this before, from Angel Reese's jeers to the Carrington's eye pokes, and they are aware when someone is vying for their attention.
When Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White and these people came out and basically said at the end of the season, and Kelsey Mitchell and all these people, she was really anti-Fever. I don't think she was necessarily anti-Caitlin Clark with what she said, but she was anti-Fever when everyone was saying, like, do not platform the troll.
Therefore, the key question is what will happen next. Will the Fever go away until Turner logs off? Or will they allow her to continue tweeting her way into more serious trouble? At this point, Turner doesn't appear to be a defensive upgrade. Rather, she looks like a PR nightmare, and Caitlin Clark's fan base isn't the forgetful kind.
She came out on Twitter saying we needed to platform the trolls. And when somebody responded that we need to platform the trolls and call it out, and it's the responsibility of everyone to call out all this, and it's like, someone responded was like, that's the worst thing you do. These aren't people. These are literally just internet trolls that are doing it for attention. And then she basically doubled down, was like, no, you're wrong. You need to platform the trolls.
Consider it. The WNBA is growing faster than ever. All of the off-season moves so far made sense, and the fans were thrilled. Caitlin Clark changed the league, and the Fever are finally back in the national spotlight. This is their moment, and the media is watching, the fans are energized, and the front office is getting ready to build around their generational superstar. Brianna Turner enters the scene as though she is prepared to assist, but she immediately begins disparaging the fan-based player who is causing all of this buzz. It seems as though she hasn't read the first page of the handbook on how to join a new team. Don't offend the franchise star.
It was purely a college wants to celebrate his greatest team in the history of the college. And she comes out and goes like, why are they doing this? Runners-up shouldn't be doing this. No one would say this where it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. You just know it.
But all right, errors do happen. We've seen athletes make mistakes on social media before. So, what does Turner do next? She could apologize, show humility, and try to win back the fans, but she doesn't even come close. Instead, she doubles down with a tweet so defiant that it left Jaws on the ground. Let me read it to you. I won't change my online advocacy efforts or bend over backwards to appease others while I expect to receive criticism, hostility, and invalidation.
And when I see this kind of post talking directly about culture in locker room, are you trying to put out a fire? Seriously? Because that kind of seems like a little bit of damage control is now going on. First press conference. How's the locker room holding up? Would that even have been asked before that signing?
Is it not astounding that she essentially told the entire fan base that? You may be thinking, well, maybe she's just standing up for her beliefs. But here's the issue. I'm not here to win you over. Not only is Turner supporting social causes, but she is also disparaging the very people who purchase tickets, don the jerseys, and are prepared to swarm Gainbridge Fieldhouse to watch the Fever light it up. Turner has made it clear that winning over this fan base isn't exactly at the top of her priority list, and this isn't about politics.
That is the one thing where I'm like, that's the one direct thing with Caitlin Clark. But she has essentially, like, not shown to be necessarily fully anti-Caitlin Clark, but she was definitely in the group of players that you will say you could brand as saying anti-Caitlin Clark stuff.
And Fever supporters aren't having it. They're demanding that Turner be fired before she even plays, forgetting the hype surrounding her defensive prowess. Now, the question is, why is she here? But it gets even worse. The wilder. Turner isn't only remaining steadfast, she's becoming more defiant and tweeting more. Fans of Fever are strongly leaning toward leaving it, but it's as if she's adding fuel to a fire that was already threatening to destroy her reputation in Indiana.
Instead of her coming in wanting a winning mentality, now Joanna Bonner had said some things online too, but what Brianna Turner just did is just completely disrespected the fan base as a whole.
Now, after months of creating this ideal lineup around Clark and promoting this franchise as the WNBA's future, the front office is witnessing their most recent signing turn into a PR nightmare. This is not just Turner's problem anymore. It's an Indiana Fever crisis.
Now, Brianna Turner is a different type of individual. Granted, she has defensive possibilities, and she's a great addition to have on a bench. But outside of that, she comes with a lot of baggage. Now that baggage is now causing major concerns online, and people is demanding she be removed from this damn basketball team.
Since, let's face it, this is a Caitlin Clark team, every choice and move is evaluated through that prism. Therefore, do they support Turner and run the danger of offending their most ardent supporters, or do they distance themselves and run the risk of creating conflict in the locker room? But here's the greater problem. The entire dynamic within this squad and how modern sportsmen deal with the social media maze are at the center of the Turner story, not just one player or one tweet.
You didn't have no way to like mediate anything to where like, okay, guys, I know y'all feel this way about me. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. How can we move forward this? How can we move forward and past this? Want to know what DeWanna Bonner said? You can unfollow me. I'm not changing the way I feel.
When you put on that jersey, you're not just joining a team, you're entering a community that is united behind Caitlin Clark as their hope for the future. Turner forgot that she entered the game acting as though she was larger than the team and larger than the movement Clark is creating. In my opinion, players are no longer just hoopers. They are brands, influencers, and representatives of something greater than themselves.
Is that something you want to say when you're newly to a team and you know the fan base seriously do not like you? Is to unfollow me. I'm not changing the way I feel. That right there showed me you don't care about that.
Though it may seem brave on Twitter, the WNBA is a dangerous sport because at the end of the day, basketball is about the fans, the stands, the community that lives and breathes this team, and the bond between those people and their superstar. At the moment, that superstar is Caitlin Clark, and Turner is already on the wrong side of history. Now, sure, Turner is not the first athlete to face backlash for speaking out, but the difference is that the ones who survive find a balance, stand for their convictions, and build bridges with fans.
Now, these are the people that has to buy your tickets, watch the games, and pretty much cut your check. Now, I don't know how things was with you in Chicago. Maybe y'all was like manipulated, brainwashed, but y'all speaking out and saying things outside of basketball and sparking these race wars is the reason y'all in this position.
The $1 million question, or even a $1 billion one in Caitlin Clark's case, is what happens next. Before she has even played a minute, Brianna Turner continues to dig her Twitter grave, solidifying her position as Indiana's most despised player. Does the Fever front office intervene and attempt to save her? Let's not sugarcoat this catastrophe, or, let's be honest, are they already secretly developing an exit strategy? The Fever's signing frenzy was meant to propel this squad into contender position with regard to Caitlin Clark, but Turner is walking on a tight RPP over lava. Boston's Aaliyah, with seasoned veterans like Sydney Carlson, Dananna Boner, Sophie Cunningham, and Natasha Howard, Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull Fever fans dreamed of banners hanging from Gainbridge Fieldhouse, as that core could contend for titles for the ensuing 10 years.
Our job then as coaches to continue to put them in positions to succeed, and our job as a franchise to put the pieces around them that will fill some of the gaps and fill some of the holes, and ultimately our goal is to win championships and to hang banners.
Instead, Turner's defiance and clapbacks are all over their social media feeds, and here's the true problem. When Caitlin Clark signed with Nike, it wasn't just a sneaker deal. It was the baton pass from the NBA's past to its future, and Turner felt it was a good idea to take aim at that. She is more than just a basketball player. She is a movement. The reason this team sells out games before the season begins, and the reason ESPN and national media are encamped in Indiana.
I know she knew, but we need to have some type of understanding. And we're not having an understanding when you're telling people to unfollow you. Granted, she can't take back what she said, but you don't come right here and slap the people in the face and say, you know what, I'm against this, that, this, and that. If you don't like it, unfollow.
Let's face it, if Turner is losing it over the criticism on Twitter, what will happen when she is under actual pressure and Clark is dropping 30? Turner makes yet another layup on national television as Boston dominates. How will she respond when reporters question why the defense failed and supporters cheer her on? In Indiana, this isn't just basketball anymore. It's Clark country.
She's already shown she is going to let what people say on Twitter affect her. She is already clapping back at people on Twitter. What happened to protect the locker room? And by the way, I have no issue with tweets she said in the past. Clean slate. At the end of the day, if the locker room are cool with her, If her actions are not going to affect the locker room and she can block a couple of shots and play some defense, cool. That's all that matters. But she will always be the freaking fan.
Ask any coach. Drama like this spreads quickly, and one player's ego can ruin a whole team. Take the Liz Cambig incident with the Sparks locker room disaster, where they cut Simmons in the middle of the season and the team suffered. Or consider the great exodus that occurred in Chicago and Las Vegas due to Angel Reese and MVP A'ja Wilson. What's worse is that Turner isn't even a star. She's not a Cambage or a Simmons. She's just a role player who is causing chaos at the franchise level, with a backup quarterback attempting to interrupt the MVP's press conference.
Biggest things you don't want to have for your basketball team is locker room drama. Hell, you don't want to have locker room problems in any sports, because that could boil over into the game and really mess up your winning possibilities as a.
The WNBA is brutal when it comes to firing non-stars. If you're not performing, you're out. Turner keeps stepping up, treating this like a personal battle, but in reality, she's fighting against the franchise's future. This isn't Phoenix or Chicago anymore, and Indiana chose their side. Fans know it. Fever supporters went from celebrating Clark's arrival to questioning why Turner is even here. On that side is Caitlin Clark.
So that's what you think of fans. I anticipate. So you think you are going to receive criticism, hostility, and invalidation. Why are you joining? Why did you join a team when you believe that you're going to receive criticism, hostility, and invalidation? For, by the way, being against these.
The larger picture should not be overlooked. Here is a chance for the fever to spread across generations. Every free agent in the league is watching Indiana as Clark opens a championship window and gives them the chance to create a dynasty. However, if Turner's antics begin to define this team, those players suddenly hesitate, wondering if Indiana is more drama than contender. The front office is aware of this. They are not stupid. They saw what happened with the Chicago Sky the Angel Reese era, which began with locker room friction, veterans leaving, and whispers of dysfunction. Given the bright spotlight, what will happen next? Turner has two options. She can read the room, swallow her pride, and work tirelessly to prove herself, or she can continue to tweet and feed the flames, finding herself watching Clark's historic rookie season from the comfort of her couch, because this isn't just about her personal beliefs. It's also about team chemistry, championships, and Caitlin Clark leading the Fever into a new era. At this point, Turner is not only risking her own position, but also the future that this fan base has been waiting for. Do you agree? Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss anything. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.